Hey guys, welcome back to another haul. I know, it hasn't been that long since my last one, and technically September isn't even over, so this isn't even like an all-inclusive September book haul, but I somehow have all of these books to get through. Yes, I placed a book outlet order, and that's why I'm filming this video, because I am desperate to get to it. So I have a couple arcs to talk about, some hardcovers, because I don't know, I just bought them. And of course a book outlet order that I'm desperate to get to. So without further ado, let's get into some books. So the very first book that I'm so excited to get a copy of and read this and talk to you guys about it is called Starworld. And the second that this cover and title got announced by the authors, I immediately requested it. Basically because this is co-authored by Audrey Coldhurst and Paula Garner, both of which I think are some of the most underhyped authors in the YA world right now. Audrey Coldhurst wrote Of Fire and Stars and Ink Mistress, which came out earlier this year. So she wrote fantasy, and Paula Gardner wrote Phantom Limbs and Relative Strangers, both of which are really heavy-hitting contemporaries. So when I saw that they were co-authoring a book together, I had to have it. I had to. This is a book that I'm not sure what genre it's gonna fall in. It sounds kind of like contemporary. It sounds like it could potentially turn into sci-fi or magical realism or just dark contemporary. Let me explain real quick. So this is following two girls named Sam and Zoe, and both of them are kind of polar opposites. Sam is a very like introverted loner and Zoe is a very popular girl, but both of them are dealing with really hard home lives. I believe Sam is dealing with her mom's obsessive compulsive disorder, which is like taking over their lives, and she is trying to pursue her dream of studying aerospace engineering. And I believe Zoe has a really secret, dark past where she found out she was abandoned as an infant, so she's adopted, and her adopted mother has cancer. Basically, both of these girls have some really rough lives that they are keeping secret from the rest of the world, and somehow they end up becoming friends and exchanging phone numbers, and they escape these dark lives by going into a private universe called Starworld, where they go on adventures and become really good friends. So this, I can't gauge if this is going to be just like a make-believe world that they talk about together to escape these dark things, or if this is going to be an actual universe called Starworld, like sci-fi, where they're actually gonna go somewhere, or if it's going to be somewhere in the middle where it could be magical realism and this is just kind of like interpreted how they deal with these things. I am just so excited to get to this. So this comes out in April of 2019, so I'm so excited to read this and let you guys know what I think of it. It sounds great. Next arc, I am so excited to get a copy. It is Warrior of the Wild by Trisha Levenseller, who wrote the Daughter of the Pirate King duology. This is her brand new 2019 release, which is obviously falling in the Viking genre, which I talked about recently in a video, and I am so excited to see more Viking representation, because obviously the YA world has finally understood that we love reading really strong female leads, or just really strong protagonists in general. And obviously the Vikings are pretty barbarically strong individuals, so I love that that's like how they're embodying like female empowerment in YA. I'm so excited for this. It sounds so good. But basically, this is following a girl who has trained her entire life to become a warrior and lead her village, and when she gets tested for these abilities to take over as leader, she fails, and her father abandons her to the wilderness. So the story is following her kind of trying to redeem herself and come back and prove herself. Either way, that sounds pretty brutal, and I'm so excited. I love good Viking stories. Sky in the Deep was so good in my opinion, so I am so ready to see another author's take on it. So excited for this. Okay, I'm also going to talk about an arc that I technically already hauled for you guys, but I kind of recently found out more information about it, so I wanted to just mention it briefly. So I'm about to pick up A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. Comes out in January. I've already talked about it in a video. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which has mixed opinions because we've gotten so many of them so much. But one, this is by a contemporary author taking on like a dark fantasy retelling, which I'm interested to see how that goes. But two, what I have found out about this is our like Beauty character, our main protagonist character, has cerebral palsy. So that's so intriguing to me, so I kind of wanted to like let you guys know that I found that information out, and now I'm desperate to start reading this. This comes out in January, so definitely keep your eye out for it. I will be reading it very soon and let you guys know what I think of it. But that is a twist that I did not see coming, and something that is so important to see represented in books more often, and just to see how it's going to be handled in a retelling. So that's gonna make this one definitely stand out more. I'm very excited. So I just wanted to let you guys know a little tidbit about a book that I have technically previously hauled that I'm even more excited about now. Okay, getting into these finished copy books. So these are going to be like somewhat recent releases that I finally got the pre-orders of. These 3 books, I'll go through these top ones first. So I have a copy of I'll Be Gone in the Dark. Who is this by? Michelle McNamara. So this is a book that has actually been out for quite some time, and it recently got way more publicity because this is actually a nonfiction story following the Golden State Killer. This just got immensely more popular because they just recently caught him, like decades after all of this went down. Oh, this book has become way more present in the book world now. It looks really interesting to me. It has pictures and diagrams, and it's just going to be a really cool take on it. But I did want to let you guys know that me and some of my other book reviewer friends are going to be doing kind of a read-along throughout October. This is completely separate from Spooktober, but across Instagram and Twitter, we are going to be reading a different thriller every Friday. So if you want to head on over to my Instagram account, we have a schedule set up for this. We will have page breakdowns. If any of you guys would like to join me, we have this along with these 2 other books and one that is in this book outlet order. If you guys would like to pick them up and read along with us, you guys are more than welcome. So we are going to be using the hashtag Friday Fright-a-thon, I believe. All of the information, I'll link stuff down in the description, and you can head over to my Instagram or any of the other hosts' Instagram if you would like to read along with us for this book and 3 others that I will get to in this haul. The next book that I picked up for that like read along, buddy read, readathon, whatever you want to call it, is this next book, which is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. Riley Sager wrote Final Girls, which I read I think earlier this year or last year. It was a very good thriller. I enjoyed it. It didn't like blow my mind, but this was actually a book of the month pick, and from what I've heard, people have loved this one. I have a feeling I'm gonna get creeped out by it, but it's gonna be great. So I think this is actually the last one that we're reading at the end of October, if you guys want to read along with us. And the next one is The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. This is a book that I've been intrigued by because I actually read In a Dark, Dark Wood by her, and I think I got to The Woman in Cabin 10. Yeah, I definitely did. Yeah, that one was on the ship, right? I think I read that one. So I read both of Ruth Ware's books, and very similar to the last book, I liked them. They were good thrillers. These are adult thrillers, by the way. But they didn't blow me away. They held my attention for the time that I was reading them, but it wasn't like standout to me. From what I've heard, this one is good. This one is creepy, really, really good, so we're very excited to get to this one. So, again, if you want to read along with us, link in the description. This next book is a pre-order that I finally got, and that is The Deepest Roots by Miranda Acevedo. This is a book that I talked about in my, what month is this? September releases that finally came out. This just sounds so, so good. It follows 3 different friends who live in, what is it? Cottonwood Hollow, which is a small, I think, Kansas town, where all of the girls are born with an ability to do something useful, I guess. They all have the ability to like heal the sick or fix things that are broken or find things that were lost. We follow 3 girls who have very similar gifts, but they all deal with their own dark secrets and family pasts, and they kind of band together to find out the secret behind these gifts in their town and just learn to trust each other and their own selves. It sounds great. I've heard really good things about it so far. Also, this cover is just, I like this cover for some reason. It has thistle on it. I love it. This next book also released on the same day, and it is Strange Grace by Tessa Gratton. This book wasn't even really on my radar because I actually ended up DNFing The Queens of Innis Lear by Tessa Gratton, which is an adult, really dense high fantasy retelling of King Lear. It wasn't terrible, I just was not feeling it when I was reading it. I probably got at least halfway, if not 2/3 of the way through it before I DNF'd it. But this is a young adult book, which I know nothing about other than my friends Julie, who is from Pages and Pens, I'll leave her linked down below, and our friend Melanie, who is a huge blogger, reviewer, Goodreads reviewer. Both of them read this together, and this is possibly their favorite book of 2018. Like, this is the book that has topped everything, and these are 2 people who have already read arcs of Muse of Nightmares and The Wicked King, and this has topped it. So, those are some strong words, so I impulse purchased this. I will let you guys know, I've heard that this is a really good, creepy October read. I know nothing about it, to be completely honest. I had to get it after those reviews happened. Then this last book right here is my uppercase book. I didn't do like an unboxing for this because I got the book only option, even though it technically did come with a little enamel pin for it, and it came with like a deleted chapter sampler. So that's pretty cool. Oh, it has a free preview of The Descendant of the Crane on it. I didn't see that before. So it came with this little booklet, which is really cool. But also look at this cover. Just look at those colors. This is gonna be so perfect for some Bookstagram photos. But this obviously is going to be a sci-fi. It sounds great. I've heard that it has really good female protagonists and friendship. So I'm excited to get to this. I didn't even know anything about this before I got it. But this cover is stunning. I love it. Also, I've been on a sci-fi kick lately, so for some reason, this is calling to me recently. Okay, we're moving in to the book outlet order. I'm so excited for this. So I placed this book outlet order because the 4th book that we are doing for the thriller readathon that goes along with these books was available on book outlet. And I wanted to buy it because it was cheaper on there than obviously ordering it from Amazon or going to the bookstore and buying it. But in order to make that purchase, I clearly had to buy every book that was already sitting in my cart at the time, obviously, right? So that's what I did. I happened to have, I think, like 12 books sitting in my cart, and I just added the one that we were going to be reading and then clicked purchase. That happened. No shame. I'm real excited to get into this. So this wasn't even taped very well, like it already came apart, but I am so excited to get into this because, to be honest, I don't remember what the other books that were in my cart, what they were. This is a large box. So we have the paper. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh man, I'm remembering all these books now. So we got a bunch of paper in here. So, okay, so this first book is called I Stopped Somewhere by T.E. Carter. This is a book that I had never heard of, but the cover is what got me. I love covers like this. It has kind of like black and red leaves throughout the whole thing, but I didn't know anything about this, so I went on Goodreads and read some reviews for it, and this totally sounds like my type of book. This is going to be a very dark and triggering story. This is going to fall in the type of story that What We Saw, The Way I Used to Be, Speak, those types of stories that deals with rape and deals with rape culture, and the story follows the victim as they kind of move past it and deal with what happened to them and just kind of the mental breakdown of what can happen to a rape victim. I basically picked this up because a lot of reviewers that I trust and follow regularly on Goodreads said that this is one of those incredibly important and horrible stories that's very necessary to be read. So it's not going to be an enjoyable read, but it's going to be a heavy hitter and be very important. So I picked this up because it just sounded good to me. It sounded important and intriguing, so I added this one to the cart, apparently a while ago. The next book I picked up is one that I've been wanting for a long time, but I never really followed that many reviews for it ever since I talked about it on my channel, like back when it released a long time ago. That is Even the Darkest Stars by Heather Fawcett. This is a book, oh, it's blurred by Sarah Glenn Marsh. Oh, it's blurred by Evelyn Skye. It's blurred by good people on the back. So this is a YA fantasy that follows a girl who dreams of being like a royal kingdom's cartographer, where she gets to travel the lands and map it out for the king. And I believe one of the famous current cartographers, who is very eccentric and crazy, comes to this girl and asks for her to be trained on this role, and they kind of go on this like crazy adventure survival type story. I love good survival stories, especially if they're set in a fantasy world, so I'm very intrigued to see this. Also, she's got like a little fox or dog with her, so I love a good animal companion in a story. So I've been wanting to read this for a very long time. You know what? The spine is white. Isn't that intriguing? This is a really dark cover and back, but the spine is white. So the book is white. That's interesting. I don't know why that's surprising to me, but it is. So I've just been wanting to read this for a long time. I was excited when it first came out, but I never really saw reviews for it, so I wanted to read and review it for myself. The same thing with this. These two books go hand in hand for some reason in my mind. I think because they both have really dark blue, smoky covers with the word star in the title. So this is Last Star Burning by Caitlin Sangster. This is another fantasy that came out last year. This is a tall book. I wasn't expecting it to be tall, but it looks fantasy and it looks like Asian inspired fantasy. I believe this is actually going to fall more into like a sci-fi dystopian type story from what I've heard. So this is following Sev, who is branded as a criminal. Like, she has a star branded on her hand because she was a criminal, and it's only because she was the daughter of a woman who was like a betrayer to the nation, and her mother's body is displayed on like the nation's arch. It says the traitor's arch, so they display the traitors on this arch, like they hang their dead bodies there. Needless to say, this sounds like my type of story. Am I right? Like, that's real disturbing and dark. So that's kind of all that I really know about it. I think it's just following her on the run from the city after she gets blamed for a bombing, I think. So this definitely has fantasy looking vibes, but I think this is very much going to be a dystopian sci-fi story. So I'm kind of intrigued by that alone. This next book is actually why I placed the order. So this is going to be the fourth and final thriller that we end up reading. And this is called If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This has actually been out for a while. There's tons of copies on Book Outlet if you want to pick it up. I think this was like $5, so if you want to join us. This, I believe, is kind of similar to the Dead Poets Society or the Dante Club, where it's following like a group of students in college who are all like, I believe this one is dealing with Shakespeare. So it's a group of Shakespearean actors who just kind of like bond over acting in Shakespearean plays, and they put on private performances. Mixed with The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I haven't read The Secret History, but I know that's her like best work. I read The Goldfinch by her and loved it. She's an amazing writer. But basically this is held up like with really high esteem. The books that this is compared to is like some loved literature. So this is following a bunch of Shakespearean actors who like 10 years ago when they were in a university or conservatory, they basically put on plays for Shakespearean things because they all bonded over their love of Shakespearean plays and acting, and they start dying. So we're dealing with that, but we're dealing with murder, and we don't know if they are murdering within the club, like if they are murdering their own, and they have to convince the police and each other that they're innocent. It sounds awesome, and it has amazing reviews. It's blurred by the author of The Nest, Cynthia Dupree Sweeney. It's blurbed by Emily St. John Mandel, who wrote Station 11. Do you guys remember the like phenomenon that happened around that book? She blurbed this book. It's got really good authors that blurb this. It sounds dark, it sounds awesome and murdery, so if you guys want to pick this up, definitely read along with us. This next book, oh my god, this next book, look at that. Oh my god, this has never happened to me. I'm so excited. So, holy shit. Oh my god, this is so exciting. It's signed. Okay, so I always see people commenting that they place an order from Book Outlet and they end up getting a signed copy, that it wasn't advertised, that it was autographed, it didn't say anything, and it's surprise. That's so exciting. Book Outlet is kind of infamous for every now and then sneaking in like special signed editions without saying anything, and you get it and you're like, woo! Like right now, I'm very excited. So, okay. So Minnie McGinnis is an auto-buy author for me, and the Given duology is the only books of hers that I haven't read yet. So I wanted to pick up the first one because it was on there and it was signed. Oh my god, Minnie McGinnis is one of my favorite authors of all time. This is so exciting. Look at it. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Okay, moving on. So this is a fantasy story by her. It follows a girl who was literally like created to be sacrificed to the ocean. So that's kind of all I know. It's dealing with like mythology revolving around sacrifice and stuff. And I believe the sequel is Given to the Earth. And I am so excited about this. Okay, my day is made now. I'm gonna move on. Ooh, okay, the next book is actually Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller, who wrote Warrior of the Wild, which I have the arc of. So this is the sequel to Daughter of the Pirate King, which I've had on my shelf forever, and it is a very loved book. Like, for the time that this came out when pirates weren't huge, people loved that book. So this is the second book in that duology, so I just wanted to binge through them because I haven't actually read them, but I am planning on doing an entire pirate mermaid themed readathon later on this year, so I have been stockpiling books, and this is obviously a necessary thing, so it's now on Book Outlet if you guys want to pick up the second one. This book is an author that I have been reading through recently, and that is J.A. Redmierski. She wrote The Edge of Never and The Edge of Always, which are these two books which might look familiar to you. I read those, I loved them. They're possibly my favorite new adult books that I've read. They were some of the first ones and they've just stuck with me. I actually own them and have reread them. I just recently read Song of the Fireflies, which I'm thinking of doing a review about because it was a very important story that I just have thoughts on. And this is one of her newer releases called The Moment of Letting Go. So I just adore her writing. I think it's very, very good for a new adult. So I kind of auto-buy all of her books when they are on Book Outlet. So I'm very excited to get to this because my standards are pretty high now for her. I also picked up More Than We Can Tell by Bridget Kemmer. Oh, also who wrote A Curse So Dark and Lonely, because this is a companion sequel to The Letters of the Lost, which she wrote. Which I haven't read yet, but I really want to. I basically follow Murphy on BookTube, and she is obsessed with these two books. Like, these are some of her favorite books of all time. I'm very excited to get to them. I believe they are dark contemporary. Letters to the Lost, I believe, deals with grief, and I think this follows two of the side characters. I might be wrong about that, but I just really wanted to pick it up so I can read through both of them back to back. The next book is a book that I have been curious about for a very long time. It's called The Beast is an Animal by... oh man, I don't know how to say that. This is a book that I pick up every single time that I'm in Target or in BAM or in Walmart because it's been on the shelf for a long time. And I've been intrigued by it because it follows like a dark forest. And first of all, the thing that I'm excited about, for some reason, I don't know, the forest is spelled with 2 F's. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but for some reason, they chose to spell the forest that way, which is intriguing to me. Little things like that where they kind of alter the language intrigues me. Basically, what I know about this is that it's following Alice, who lives in a world where there are soul eaters, who are twin sisters, who live in this wild, dark forest, and the village that she lives in, all of the adults are terrified of these soul eater twin sisters and the beast. The beast is capitalized, and we don't know what the beast is, but it's also in this dark, dark forest, and Alice just needs to like undertake a journey into this forest and obviously confront whatever is happening. I don't know like what causes this journey or anything. Something about this book has been calling to me for years. I have literally picked it up every single time I'm in a store and put it back down, but for some reason I keep getting drawn back to it, so I finally bought it. Also, I think this is being turned into a movie. I don't know if that's like confirmed or not, but I've seen it on lists of book to movie adaptations that are coming. So it's just one. I've needed to read it for a very long time, clearly, because my mind keeps bringing me back to it, so I finally bought it, and I'm very excited because I think this is going to be a really good October Halloween read because it's very eerie and dark and woodsy. I'm feeling it. This next book I got is Elite by Rachel Van Dyken. I love me some good new adult. Basically, that's the only reason that I bought this. Also, I believe Rachel Van Dyken is going to be at a Polycon next year, which I am going to, so I've been kind of steadily picking up books to take to be signed while I'm there. It sounds good. It sounds like some smutty new adult, and I love smexy books. Okay, that's it. The end of story. Oh, okay, I totally forgot that I placed this. I got a book called When Irish Guys Are Smiling by Suzanne Saplee. I don't know anything about this. I'm almost sure that this is middle grade. I always read books that are set in Ireland. It doesn't matter what the story is about, what age range it's meant for. If it's set in Ireland, I'm gonna read it. So I'm pretty sure, oh, it says it's following a 17-year-old, so I'm guessing this is technically a young adult, but it looks very middle grade to me. It's very small. It's about a girl who is studying abroad in Ireland and probably falls in love with a guy. That's really all I know. Oh, and this last book is actually a big reason of why I placed this order as well. So, this is Child of a Mad God by R.A. Salvatore. So, in case you guys didn't know, I've been kind of talking about it and giving you teasers. Once we get through October and all of like Throne of Glass, all of my readathons and Halloween type books, I'm gonna hunker down this winter and read through fantasy. Like epic high fantasy that has been recommended to me by friends, by other authors, or just are big authors that I have always been intimidated by. R.A. Salvatore is up there. Like, R.A. Salvatore has written some doozies and is one of the biggest names in fantasy writing in general. So I have been steadily collecting series and authors and recommendations that I'm just stockpiling for winter. So I'm actually planning on possibly doing this as a whole buddy read system for anybody who wants to join me. But this is a book that I saw come out this year. This is actually a 2018 release. That sounds actually really good to me. R.A. Salvatore's books generally don't call to me. This is an adult story, but we're following, I believe, a teenage girl in this, which I think is why it's intriguing to me, because it has like crossover appeal for me. But it's following a girl who lost her parents and has to fend for herself in a tribe of vicious barbarians. The only hope that she has of survival in this really barbaric tribe is learning how to wield the mysterious power used by the tribe's coven. So it has like witchcraft vibes, it has barbarian, like Viking tribe vibes, and it has like a mysterious power. All of those things are auto-buy stories for me, so I figured this might be a really good introduction to R.A. Salvatore's writing in a story that is actually very appealing to me. So this is gonna go on the pile. I will make a whole video about that if you guys are interested in that, but this is stockpiled for winter. And that is officially the end of the book outlet order. Yeah, that was a lot of books. It took up both shelves. So that is going to be it for this haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know people love their haul videos, myself included, so that is an updated haul for my library. And I'll see you guys in my next video.